Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, then please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my new videos. Also, you can hit the little post notification bell and you'll be notified when I post new videos. Today I am showing you 3 adorable Dollar Tree DIY spring decor ideas that I think turned out really awesome. I hope you enjoy, and if you're interested in seeing how I made these items, then continue watching. The first project up is this Love Blooms Here sign. I think that it turned out absolutely adorable, and you're going to see how easy it is to make this sign. The supplies I'm going to be using for this project are these white carnations from the Dollar Tree and this 8x10 photo frame, also from the Dollar Tree. I created this Love Blooms Here print, and I will leave a link down below to my blog where you can go and download that and print it as well. Also, I'm going to be using some white spray paint. Okay, so to get started, I am removing the back of my photo frame off, and I am removing that paper and glass, and I'm just going to take my photo frame outside and spray paint it with my white spray paint. So I'm going to take my frame, but I am going to put my picture down into the frame without the glass on the back side of it, or the front side of the print I should say, and then I'm going to put my glass on the back side of that print, and then I'm going to put the backing back on the frame. And I'm just doing this that way the backing stays on there nice and tightly. And I'm going to go ahead and just push those clips down to keep that secure. And here I am pulling my carnations off that stem. I am going to be using 5 of the carnations. And the last step is to add my carnations onto my sign with using my hot glue. I am taking off the bottom parts of my flowers, that way they sit a bit more flush to my sign. And I used 3 carnations on the bottom, and I used 2 carnations on the top. I love how this turned out. I think it is absolutely beautiful, and it is so easy to make. And I hope you enjoy making this one as much as I did. So the next project I am showing you is this easy spring wreath. It is really easy to make, and I think that it turned out super cute as well. For this project, I'm going to be using this 12-inch willow wreath form from the Dollar Tree. Also, I'm going to be using these pink peonies. These came from the Dollar Tree also. I'm going to be using this burlap ribbon. This did not come from the Dollar Tree. I believe I got this from Hobby Lobby. Also, I'm going to be using some white spray paint. To get started with this project, I did take my wreath form outside and I painted it with my white spray paint. So I'm going to be using 3 peonies that I already took off my stem, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that on my wreath with hot glue. And there was a little bit of stem left on my flowers, so on some I just went ahead and clipped that little bit of stem off. That way it could fit a bit more flush on my wreath, because the little stem wasn't actually fitting in those little grooves exactly where I wanted them to. So I did want to add a little bit of green, so I took my leaf, and it was actually 2 leaves attached to one, and I cut them in the middle, and here I am laying them out to where I want them to go, and then I'm going to use my hot glue to glue it to my wreath. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to making my bow, and I want my tails to be 6" each, so I'm going to go ahead and cut a strip of my burlap ribbon to 12 inches. Okay, so the main part of my bow, I only want it to be about 10 inches in width, so I'm kind of working backwards here because I'm right-handed and I like my roll to be on the right-hand side. So I'm taking my ribbon and I'm putting the end of it about the 4-inch mark on my ruler, and I want the loop to be at my 10-inch mark. So I am making sure that it kind of lines up there. I'm going to pinch the middle of my ribbon and just kind of twist it there, and then I'm going to take the ribbon and make another loop and make sure that that lines up to the end of my ruler, and go ahead and twist that there in the middle as well, and pinch them all together while I'm doing that. And I'm going to make a double looped bow, so I'm going to go ahead and make another loop and do the exact same step by making it match up at the 10-inch mark again, and twisting it in the middle there, and then pinch it with my other ribbons that I have pinched. And then I'm going to make another loop on the left-hand side of my bow and do the exact same thing. And here I am twisting that ribbon there. And now I'm going to make a small loop in the middle of my bow. What I'm doing is just kind of wrapping that around, measuring how big of the loop I want, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors and cut that ribbon. I'm going to take that and loop it and make sure that I am going to pinch that with my other ribbons. If you can see how I'm doing that, I still have the little loop. I'm just kind of forming that out. Now I'm going to take my tail of my ribbon and go ahead and put that on the back side of my bow and just go ahead and pinch that in there with the rest of my ribbon. And then I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and go ahead and put that through the middle of my bow and making sure that I'm wrapping it around all of my ribbon. That way it doesn't come loose. And I'm just going to go ahead and twist that on like a twist tie. So I still have that little bit of extra ribbon that I started off with, and I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors and cut that off. I'm making sure that I do not cut any of my other ribbon. I am just cutting that little excess ribbon there. And so I'm just fluffing out my bow, and I'm going to finish my ends of my tails by putting the triangles in them. You can just do the slant if you want, or you can just leave them as is, but I really like the triangles in this styled bow. And so the last part of this project is to go ahead and attach the bow onto my wreath, and I'm just taking those pipe cleaners and going to wrap it around my wreath and just make sure that it is nice and secure so my bow does not fall off. And then I'll give my bow a little final fluffing just to make sure that it is looking nice and neat. And that is how simple it was to make this spring wreath. I really love how it turned out. I think it's very cute and it's very springy. So I hope that you enjoyed this project. Moving along, I'm going to show you how I made these moss topiaries. These are my favorite because they are beautiful. Although they can get a little bit messy when you make them, they are easy to make and they only cost a few bucks. So the supplies I'm going to be using from the Dollar Tree is this floral moss. Also, I'm going to be using one of these dowel rods. Also, I'm going to be using 2 succulent containers. This one is in black. I do have a white one that I decided to make later. I am using 2 floral balls, and I'm going to be using these white flowers. I am going to be using some spray adhesive just because I find that this is a bit neater, but you can use hot glue if you prefer. I am going to be using some acrylic paint in the color or shade Real Brown, and also I'm going to be using a baby wipe. So I'm starting off with spraying my foam ball with spray adhesive, and I am working in small sections at a time, and I'm placing my moss onto where my spray adhesive is still wet. If it does dry in some spots, then go ahead and spray it again and then just stick the moss on there. And I'm doing this until my entire ball is covered with the moss. And now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim up my ball and make sure that there's like not any hangy bits down and just kind of make it look more round. And also I'm just going to go ahead and pat around my moss and make sure that it is adhered to that glue in my ball very good. And so here I am taking my baby wipe and a bit of that brown paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and stain my wood dowel with it. You can leave it natural if you like, but I do like the wood a little bit darker. And also if you just want to use a paintbrush and paint it on, I just like using this baby wipe method because it actually looks like stained wood and not like you painted the wood. And now I'm taking my small white flowers, I cut them off the stem, and I am hot gluing them onto my moss ball in sort of a pattern. Now I'm going to remove that succulent from the pot and go ahead and take my dowel and put it in the bottom of my topiary ball and hot glue that into the container. And now I'm going to take my moss and I'm actually going to hot glue it on top of that styrofoam that is in the top of that container. And I just use my hot glue by spreading my hot glue on there and just sticking the moss on there like I did with the moss topiary ball. And then I'm going to use my scissors and just trim it up to make it neater. I made a second topiary ball exactly the same way as the first, and I'm using the white succulent container. And instead of using the dowel rod, I am using a toothpick to insert that into my styrofoam that's in the white container. And this one turned out just as cute. So there are my 3 spring Dollar Tree DIY projects. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did making them. I sure hope that you give these a try because they are definitely easy enough for anybody to do. So leave a comment down below on which one is your favorite and which one that you plan on trying to make. Also, please give this video a like and share it with any of your friends that might enjoy making these as well. And also, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.